Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BETSPERTS.
Welcome to The Deep Dive, Andy. We got a wild one this week, man. Playoff start in the NFL, but boy, oh boy. It is your guess is as good as mine, is as good as anyone's. Who exactly will be available for these NFL teams?
We're actually just gonna call it right now. We're gonna stop the show. We're glad you're here. We want you to rejoin us Friday when we actually know something. We'll just reconvene here same time on Friday night once we know like who is eligible. It's funny how the information leaks out too before we get into the games. Just the fact is, like, sometimes you'll see a tweet from a beat reporter and say, hey, here's a player who tested positive for COVID, but they're vaccinated. So this is the protocol they need to find. And then sometimes there's players and there's just no information because either they're not forthcoming on that, or we don't know, or they're not reporting it for some reason. So there's a lot of ifs and buts, which is nice because it's the season of candy and nuts. And I really just don't know what to do with some of these games where I think it's more than acceptable to just take it easy. You know, we always dog on people for, hey, maybe you shouldn't bet on Sunday morning once the most efficient market in the world has tightened itself up through millions and millions of dollars. But I don't know if this week applies. I think it's more than fine to wait a little longer and see where things take us with some of the, especially in some of these games where there's massive. And I said this morning on Brown Bag. I said, you know, you have to do this every week with the NFL, tracking injuries throughout the week.
Sure, of course.
It's not as if these have supplanted injuries. These are in addition to. So it's just like, it's like tracking 64 teams for injuries. What it is. It's a pain in the ass, and I hate it. And with that,
let's go through the card.
Yeah, KC at LA. KC takes on.
Is there?
LA
I haven't really heard anyone say this, and this is super speculative. I'm just curious your opinion. Do you think the teams that are really out, like they're out of it, like are they just ready for this season to be over at this point?
Wow.
Like this kind of nonsense now, where it's like, oh my god, everybody's got it. Are we gonna deal? But I mean, if I'm like borderline, or if I'm on a team that is not in the mix, playing a team that has something to play for, I'm probably not super psyched to play this week, right? Especially because, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's who knows if it actually has any meaningful impact in terms of player motivations and stuff. And this week probably isn't even the right week to gauge that, because next week there's a lot more garbage games. This week there's a lot of backs against the wall, you get eliminated if you lose type of stuff, which should make for an entertaining week of football if they can field teams. The Thursday night game, I guess we know the most about.
Kind of.
Seems unlikely that we're going to have a huge swing here.
No.
In terms of player availability. The AFC West leading Kansas City Chiefs go west to LA for a head-to-head with the Chargers, who beat them in Arrowhead earlier this season.
And honestly, the KC sweep.
Really, LA has, if there's a team that's really played the Chiefs tough over the years, over the Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes type of generation, it's been these Chargers, and these Chargers stuck it to Kansas City in week 3. I want to say as 7-point dogs.
Yeah,
they're about 7-point dogs on the road.
They have played them tough, especially the past couple of years. And for the second time in 3 weeks, the Chiefs, in the midst of their winning streak, will play a team where if they lose, they will lose the division lead, as it was with the Broncos, which didn't happen. Might happen. This one is a little closer line. It is a road game, and the injuries have been a little weird. They've had some COVID stuff on their own, but Rashawn Slater will miss the game, and it was a little maybe surprising Keenan being called in so early, but Eckler, Asante Samuel, one other player, James, all questionable kind of game time stuff. So I think Eckler matters a lot to your game planning, especially what you want to do against a team you might have to play catch up with. Although it's been this, we did this two times now. We got to do this before the first Raiders game. And then after the Raiders game, we issued a warning, said, hey, that was just a great matchup. They are not back. The Chiefs might not be back on offense. And in this midst of this winning streak, it's been more of the defense who's been opportunistic, and it's been a lot of turnovers. But outside of the Raiders game, this offense hasn't been, and I won't do the air quotes again for your sake, back. Like, they beat the shit out of the Raiders twice. And then it's been the defense holding teams to like 10, 15 points. And if they can do that again, they're in this game. I don't think you see like a 32, 35 point explosion from this Chiefs offense. And we did take this under, and it's going the other way.
Yeah.
I think Keenan played into that a little. So I guess I'd love to see Eckler out, despite how much I'd love the Chargers to win this game with no skin in it. Besides it would clinch the Chiefs' season win total under if they were to drop this game or any game this year.
Interesting. Their backs are against the wall in that, huh? Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The heuristic for betting the Chiefs this season has been pretty straightforward. Are they playing the Raiders? If yes, bet Chiefs.
It's like a flow chart.
If no, do not bet Chiefs. That's basically how my simple brain has thought about the Chiefs this season. And the reason, as you very eloquently put, Chiefs play a style. I mean, the Raiders play a style of defense that allows the Chiefs to get whatever they want. And every other team has learned from the Chargers that you play too high safety against this team, and you can flummox Pat Mahomes. At least make Pat Mahomes do it the hard way. Make him
cross the street.
Make him cross the street more. Make him be patient. Make him matriculate. Pat Mahomes, not a matriculator. And ultimately, if you try to make Pat Mahomes, if you just like contain him by boring him to death, he's going to ultimately make a mistake. He'll turn over the ball.
I was going to say, it's like their offense.
Yeah.
You see, I mentioned this one other time. You see them like, hey, they're giving you everything you can get, and you're taking advantage of it. And you just have to throw this deep ball. It seems super unnecessary. It's like they are impatient on offense, whereas it's like against some of these teams that are running this, this look that's stymieing the Hill stuff. It's like, man, like, why don't you just take what they're giving you? You have so many skill position players. And again, against a shitty matchup for the Raiders, it wasn't just Reek. It wasn't Kelsey. Everybody. I feel like everybody had like a big catch. Everybody who plays offense had a couple big catches.
Yeah.
And yeah, I lean Chargers and I bet the under here.
Yeah, I lean Chargers and I bet the under as well. That's where I'm at. The market moving against us, I think, I guess some of that was Chris Jones. Maybe he matters to the Chiefs defense. He probably does. I don't know. I actually, you know what my initial thought was when I saw the Chris Jones news, and then I thought the market reacted pretty quickly to that news. I just assumed somebody bet that thinking there were going to be other positive COVID tests coming for Kansas City. Yeah, and that never really materialized. So that may have been a little bit of oh man, the D-line's gone. Let's hit the over. Let's hit the Chargers. Bang, bang. And then it hasn't really readjusted since then, because I really can't make a case for the over here one way or the other. This is under all the way. Chargers without Rashawn Slater are going to be under duress. The Chiefs defense is playing so much more cohesively than they were through the first 5 weeks of the season. Ton of their Chiefs, I still contend that a ton of the Chiefs defense looking so bad through the opening salvo of this season was on the basis of they played really good offenses who were clicking and
their offense wasn't doing that well all the time. The defense was out there a lot more than they're probably used to. Like,
sure,
hey,
yeah,
this sucks.
And they faced everybody's best shot. Why are we
playing with a lead?
Yeah, teams like the Browns spent all off season concocting a way to make the Chiefs defense look bad. Teams like the Bills spent all off season concocting a way to make the Chiefs defense look bad. Teams like the Chargers really flexed in that game against the Chiefs. So but at this point, with Herbert under duress. By the way, Herbert, one of the weird kind of outlier, bizarro, weird quarterbacks who his EPA per play under pressure is like stupid high, like inexplicably high under pressure for the second year in a row. Maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe he gets the ball out, gets the ball downfield. Herbert's going to have to get it done, obviously, on 3rd and 4th downs in this game, because for whatever reason he stinks on early downs and he's great in late downs. He's just an enigma. And ultimately, I hope the Chargers win, just because it would make the AFC playoffs that much more entertaining. But ultimately, the under is the higher EV side here. I think this should be like a 47-48. Set aside the fact that it's a divisional matchup, second time these two teams are playing each other. Most of these Chargers-Chiefs head-to-heads, if you go back and kind of comb through, they were kind of playing towards the under in general. So should be a good one on Thursday. I don't have much more to add here. High leverage game for the Chargers, not just for the AFC West, but the playoffs overall, because the 1 seed is still up for grabs.
Yeah.
And even with 6 losses so far this season.
Yeah, your 1 seed is an underdog this week, guys. So
Chargers only have 5 losses, actually. So Chargers, even with 5 losses, Chargers not out of the realm of possibility that they could scoop the 1 seed. So that would be fun.
I think so. Hard agree.
Let's keep moving. Saturday
Las
football.
Vegas, this is
Saturday
the real
football.
Mess. This is a Saturday game. This will be Saturday afternoon, and this one is a real mess. Like this will be a fun Saturday with some college ball. We're talking a little college ball. We're talking a little afternoon NFL, some hot toddies. I'll be at my dad's for Christmas. Las Vegas at I see you got something hot there. Las Vegas at Cleveland. What an effing mess. This was what, +5, 6? Where did we start this at?
It was a big number. Let me see. I saw a 6.5.
Definitely, yeah. So 6. This is a Browns -6. It is now Browns. Pretty much +1.5 across the market. Moved a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Everybody has the Rona, including the starting quarterback, the head coach, and the head coach was, the head coach was out for a playoff game. They still won this. This is a Raiders team who I don't have much to say on this. I don't want to get too deep into this because, again, the joke about doing this on Friday, this is a game that should be looked at on Friday. I don't think, unless you grabbed a great number on the Raiders right after the news, in which congrats, good job being Johnny on the spot. My theory on Vegas, and obviously the reigning theory last week, was just the horrible defensive matchup against the Chiefs. But my theory for the offense starting to take some step backs is like, hey, Gruden might have been a bigot and possibly a racist, and he at least was super bad at not being couth in emails.
Course, yeah.
But he was a offensive mastermind, and I do not think the game had passed him by at all in that aspect, even if he wasn't a great head coach or an evaluator of talent in the draft. And I think there was some carryover on the offensive side for a few weeks. As we saw, they played well for the first few weeks after you had that dead cat bounce after the firing. And I think him not being involved at all in the game planning, you've seen this Raiders defense or offense kind of take a step back. Outside of the Cowboys game, they haven't really gotten going on offense. This offense is really poopy right now. This total is only 39. There's some 38.5s, I think. Yeah, that's probably right. If I had to bet this game, I would bet under 39. And that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. So no bet for me on this at all.
You mentioned it. So since losing Gruden,
yeah, look at this. It's the Cowboys game, and that's it, right?
Holy shit, man. Well, they rallied. The dead cat bounce was 34 against the Broncos.
Yep. Yeah, there was like 2 or 3 weeks where they were okay.
And then they beat the Eagles. And then over the bye week, they lose Ruggs. And since then, it has been 16 points, 14 points, 13 points, 36 penalty-aided points, 15 points, 9 points. So I think ultimately we but at the same time, like that Thanksgiving
and losing
game,
Ruggs was important as well. I mean,
losing Ruggs was important. But in that Thanksgiving game, like the obviously the leaders in that locker room, the same guys that were responsible for the dead cat bounce, got the guys up for that Thanksgiving Day game. Like they were up for that game, and maybe this kind of standalone-ish Saturday game, maybe they get them up for this one. Who knows? But I will note that there are two important handicapping wrinkles here, and it is the quarterback for both teams. Did you see the note come across that the Raiders are considering putting Derek Carr on ice and seeing what they got in old Marcus Mariota? So I think we can say pretty conclusively that's a downgrade. I think.
I agree.
Although at the same time, there's an unknown quantity in his first start. Maybe, maybe a little like, we weren't prepared for this type of deal from Cleveland side of football, especially because Cleveland doesn't have coaches or players. But
if they surprise him with Mariota, I would not be surprised if you are very, very upset about if you're a Browns fan, because they might just look bad. They might just look bad, although they still have a decent pass rush. People are talking, it's kind of the same theme, because it's like, OBJ's back because he's in a new spot. Clowney's kind of back.
Oh yeah,
well, little inconsistent, but he's
questionable though.
He's and as standard with Clowney, always a little.
Clowney's got a bruised shoulder. Yeah, now Clowney's
always a little dinged up, but they have a good pass rush. I would like to see a different quarterback come in against a good pass rush. That might be a plus move for the Browns. No play for me here. This is gross.
So then this comes down to the Cleveland side of the handicap, which is to say, how much of an upgrade is Case Keenum over Baker Mayfield at this stage? And if the Browns were full strength otherwise, I would be beating the drum that here we go, Browns. Let's march to the playoffs. They got a hard-fought win against the Ravens. Let's carry this momentum through to an 11-6 finish here. However, let me just list off the players who are unlikely to be here for the Browns. You ready? Besides Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, doubtful. That's not a COVID thing, but he's not going. Jarvis Landry, out. Anthony Schwartz, uncertain. Austin Hooper, out. David Njoku, out. The third string tight end, Harrison Bryant, is questionable. This may be a Miller Forrestal start at tight end, but tight end's going to be important in this game because you're going to need some extra blocking, because the Browns are going to be without Jedrick Wills, without Wyatt Teller, likely without Joel Bitonio, likely without J.C. Treader, and they are already down Jack Conklin. So it is the James Hudson, Blake Hance, Michael Dunn, Nick Harris, Drew Forbes show on the offensive line here for the mighty Cleveland Browns. Not sure how you're winning in the trenches against the pass rush for the Raiders in this one. Realistically, the Browns win this game. It's going to have to be because of the defense, but the defense is missing Tank McKinley, Malik McDowell. Malik Jackson is questionable. Jadeveon Clowney is questionable. Ifedi Odenigbo is out. Troy Hill is out. Anthony Walker is out. John Johnson is out. Greg Newsome will not be able to go. And to put the cherry on top, your punter, Jamie Gilliam, also out for the game. This is wild.
The real big thing is that the offensive line, with either a hurt quarterback or a backup quarterback, and not having tight ends. So it's, again, I might still talk myself into this under 39 just to have a Saturday.
If you want to play if you're going to play this, play the under.
Play the under and feel funny about it. So, and you know what the best part about Saturday? There's two games.
Do you have any inclination to play a team total under on the Browns? I mean, how are the Browns scoring touchdowns in this one? If the Browns win this game, isn't it like 9-6?
Yeah, if it's like 17.5, that might be a look at a team total under. We'll pin that one for the end.
Oh, none of these markets are open. Shit.
Yeah, it's kind of off the board at some places.
Shit.
That's too New England Indy nightcap Saturday. I said I was going to take some Patriots money line at plus number. I did. I hope it loses. I have the Colts to win the AFC, and boy, would that be a much better ticket if that were to happen, especially depending how things go. And yes,
Colts could end up being the best team in the AFC and not make the playoffs. Very possible if they lose this game.
Yeah, just kind of a short handicap on this. The New England defense is very good, but if they do have a weakness, it is on the ground. And it is a very, very tough battle in the trenches for them against a good offensive line. And then on the other hand, Indy stops the run. You want to try to pull the shit you did with Buffalo? It ain't going to work. they actually have a good run defense. They have very good linebackers. They have fast linebackers who can plug up holes. So they are going to have to rely on some. It's going to be interesting. They're going to have to either the Patriots stack the box, say we'll try to run us. We'll go 8-9 in the box. Try to do it. Beat us with Pittman. We'll put who do you think the best corner is? I mean, Jackson.
J.C. Jackson, without a doubt.
Yeah, you put Jackson on Pittman and say, all right, beat us with everybody else with Carson Wentz. Yeah. We're going to try to take away the run. We'll put a shutdown guy on Pittman, beat us with the rest of your team and Carson Wentz. And then on the other end, like the Colts they don't have to change the game plan. They're good against the run. They should be able to stymie it a bit and say, beat us with your rookie quarterback. This isn't going to be a fun game to watch. So Anthony Roman hits it the other way. It might be the opposite. Where what if they just drop back and throw it 40 times and Mac never throws the ball more than like 18 yards?
Then this total is 6 points too low.
Yeah,
if that's the case, and it might be too low. Ultimately, I haven't gotten involved with this total yet because I'm waiting on a little more information on our boy OROY Mac Jones's thumb.
Yeah, he's got a thumb.
He's got a thumb. Don't love that. But this could be I mean, this total is like tough to square. It should be higher. This should be a bigger number.
Yeah, if the Patriots, it's going to be a live betting spot. If the Patriots look like, oh man, they are fine just trying to beat the Colts with crossing patterns and shit to the tight ends and short little out routes, and they're going to dink and dunk and play a little quicker, which is what I would do. I'd run some up tempo with Mac.
I was kind of surprised. Did you see the total? So the total kicked up from 43.5 to 46.5 and then came back down to 45.
There's some buyback.
So there was buyback. So I actually the market may be thinking this is a fair price, in which case I might as well just get involved with the over now then.
Yeah, if you want to take it, I'm going to sit it out. I have the Patriots a little. And again, like I said, hope I lose.
I hope you win because I think the Patriots with a high seed make the AFC playoffs more interesting.
They
really do.
That's a fun one.
And I think also I think what we talked about is real, which is the Bills may be better served on the road as road warriors here. And you could see a scenario where the Bills as road warriors. Oh, I mean, what if, God, can you imagine if your 3 wild card teams in the AFC are Chiefs, Bills, Colts? Like, what if murderers row? Like, those guys are going to have to go on the road.
Nightmare for a division winner.
They could be, those could be your top 3 odds on, top 3 odds at the top of the market to win the AFC. And they could be your 5, 6, 7 seed. Which is not wild. It's not impossible. And,
couple looks in the chat here before we move to Sunday. This is a nice price. Anything under this is probably a 60%, kind of thing. And Pat's in a teaser. Don't hate that at all. Despite saying the points might be a little more flowing than the total thinks. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous teaser. Papa Calls has the New England Las Vegas teaser, the Randy Moss connection there. Nice.
Yeah.
He also played for the Vikings at some point. I'm wearing purple today.
Allegedly.
Washington.
Nobody remembers that.
Washington at Philly. Starting off our
Sunday. Sunday.
This is a weird game too. So you've got the quarterbacks who are injured. We saw Minshew Mania. It sounds like Hurts and Minshew are splitting reps at this point in the week. Wow. So that's a pain in the ass. So, I mean, I'm probably just not going to bet this game. It's been the storyline all year has been Washington secondary is bad. They've played better, though. It has been a better defense. It's been weird that it's been better with Chase Young out. It doesn't make much sense. Philly has 9 running backs. It doesn't matter. I mean, the Philly is just doing the New England thing where they have all these different running backs. Doesn't matter who it is. They're all getting a real pain in the ass for fantasy players. They're all getting touchdowns. Hurts, when he's healthy, is great. And now you got Scary Terry concussed and some problems in the Washington locker room with injuries / everything else. I think, a couple of them are COVIDs. And Eagles are out to 7 here. I have no interest in taking the Eagles at a 7. I hope they win. Again, we have some Washington team total or regular season win unders, and I am not interested in this game. This total feels probably right. Like the Washington offense will see what they can muster. If anything, I'd lean under, and Eagles win, but maybe don't cover. I don't have a tough look here.
What is
that
scoreline?
Did you get an action?
20. What does that scoreline look like then?
Like 23-10, 23-13,
23-20.
Maybe they do cover, I guess, and what the words I just said.
Because I was gonna bring this up as a potential SPP, Philly team total over, because I mean the COVID stuff has hit Washington in the defensive line, in the defensive trenches, and Philly's offensive line
just be able to run for like 6 yards a carry, man.
They should. This shouldn't come down to them getting it done through the air. They should be able to not punt in this game if they don't want to. Yeah. Jonathan Allen out, Casey Tuhill out, Matt Ioannidis out, Tim Settle out, James Smith-Williams out. That leaves your defensive line: Montez Sweat out, Chase Young, of course, on IR, Jalen Jelks on IR. They basically have 4 healthy players on D-line: Daron Payne, Boonme, Rotimi,
I wasn't gonna
Shaka Tony, and
Shaka.
Daniel Wise. Those are your 4 healthy bodies on the D line. I don't think they're generating much pressure with that unit there. And I mean, their linebackers are decent, but they're missing some bodies there too.
Yeah.
No David Mayo, no Eifler.
Yeah, Philly. I think Philly pushes them around up front. I worry about because they were squirrely in garbage time. They were tempting to, at a certain point, and the Dak pick 6 was big. I mean, it would have been a lot different if they'd extended that drive. They'd have probably won by 14, but it got squirrely there in garbage time, and sounds like Heineke goes. I don't think it matters who goes for quarterback at the Eagles. Minshew's fine as a backup. Hurts, if he's healthy, if that foot's good and he's running, that's even more likely. That's a problem. That's a problem for this Washington team. Washington. So, I don't know if I love a lot of points in this game though. We'll pin that one too.
All right, let's come back to that.
Yeah, and Femi's asking, is it Hurts or Minshew? They both took reps today. We really don't know.
What's the backup quarterback situation for Washington? Because Heineke came
out. So Allen is on the COVID list.
Allen's out.
Yeah, so they signed somebody off the practice squad.
Oh, did they? I haven't seen
some Hawaiian named guy, man. I don't know.
Not a guy.
It's a name that had like apostrophes in it.
Okay,
that's all I can tell you.
Okay, so we may be in a Kendall Hinton situation if Heineke gets popped.
I think they have quarterbacks, but they're like practice squad guys.
What happened to Heineke that he came out of that Dallas game? Do you remember?
Oh, Pat Shurmur is he's on the squad too. Pat Shurmur's kid. I can't think of his name. RG3 needs to come out of retirement. Yeah, Pat Shurmur's kid, and then the Hawaiian named guy.
I'm just excited to see. I'm just excited to see some of these, like a punter take a snap here.
Jordan Ta'amu.
Okay.
Ta'amu.
I want to see Tress Way behind center.
Take a snap. Legend. He sucks. So.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of practice squad quality quarterbacks, Cam Newton once again didn't play the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And is this one of those things where you look at the coin flip? If Carolina gets the ball, you wait till them to go down and score and then bet the Bills -6? Because those first drives are looking so good for Carolina, and then the rest of the game is just fucking rough. Darnold is activated, but there's not sounding like it's not going to be a couple weeks yet before he can play. He's
Sam not going to be here anymore.
Not going to be here anymore. So Darnold, it's sounding like he's at least a week or 2 away. So it's going to be the same kind of mix he got last week. The Bills -10.5. I mean, you want to lay this, lay it. You want to tease it. Do you want Bills team total? Sure. The coaching staff for the Bills worries me right now. Their brain is
what's
broken.
going on there?
I don't know, like against the Patriots, it was like, hey, oh, look what you can do. You can just throw the ball every down and beat them. You have the skill. There's too many people to cover. It doesn't matter how good these corners are. You have too many weapons, and Josh Allen can whip it through this wind. It was working, and then they still tried minus EV plays. Like it's just like the coaching broke on them. So hopefully it was a bit of a get right spot last time out, and this is a nice slump buster here. And no play for me here. Panthers. I don't know how they're scoring here, honestly. Like I don't love anything we've seen. I just joked that they might score on the first drive. How are they going to cover Diggs? Even against good teams, he's just uncoverable. The pass rush hasn't been great. The Bills struggled last week to keep Allen up. He was in boot. Sounds like the boot's off and he's going to be okay, but this is just a way easier task for this Bills offensive line, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I blame coaching for that other game. This is like your get right spot.
This is the get right spot for the Bills defense, but I don't know if this is the get right spot for the Bills offense. And I guess a part of me is hopeful that this is not their get right spot for that offense, because I'm curious what you think the market's going to open up for Pats Bills rematch next week. It's going to be in New England. Pats are coming off of this, Saturday nighter. Let's say the Bills win this one, I don't know, 27-13. Comfortable cover. What kind of number do we see open for Pats Bills? God, they didn't hang any look aheads, huh? We're in the blind. You're muted.
Sorry, I hit the mute there. Field goal. Like it's still a field goal. Okay. I think it's 2.5, 3, and it's gonna get Pats money either way. So
2.5, 3 for who?
The Patriots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favored by 2.5 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then producer Dan brought up a good point. It's just the way all these games hash out. Like if Indy gets this done, if you want to bet on Indy, you might as well take some Bills to win the East, because if things hash out and they beat and they end up tied, which is basically the Bills, all the other games falling pretty much how they should, based on being high win probabilities for one side. If the Bills beat the Patriots and the Patriots were to lose this week, the tiebreaker almost certainly is going to go to the Bills to win this division, which is wild at this point. But the way the schedules hash out, if you want to bet on the Colts to win this game this week, you should probably take a little Bills to win the division, because it's a nice number.
Realistically, the Patriots have 2 games that are 50-50 they could lose this week and next week. The Bills have 1 game remaining that's 50-50 to lose. It's against the Patriots.
Yeah.
They're going to win everyone else wins out. Yep. So there's basically a 25% chance that the Bills win the East, 75% chance that the Patriots win the East. And if the Patriots win the East with 1 loss from here,
so this is what we're saying.
Patriots probably not.
It's probably a wash. It'll be a wash. It'd be 1-1 in the second tiebreaker's division record tiebreaker, and that game against Miami looms large, because it will matter. It's funny.
Well, their final game against Miami is not going to be an easy cakewalk either. Miami's playing a hell of a lot better.
Miami is still on a winning streak. They didn't play last week. We'll get to that one next.
Okay. All right. What do you think of this Miami Jets matchup we have seen?
I think the Dolphins win this one.
I think they do too. This opened up 7, and it got bet out to 10, and it was aggressive. I was not following this game. I was not following player news. Is this line move because something happened to some important Jet, assuming that there is one?
There are no important Jets.
So why did this go? Because Miami was on bye last week. Why did this move 3 points?
I don't know. Limits were still not that high. I mean, I suppose they're higher than look-ahead limits just by the fact that they're up at more places and people hit it. They probably just haven't taken any Jets money. I'll have to talk to somebody about this. This is a game I have the least to say on. Okay. I don't have a ton to look at here. Miami, still on a winning streak. Waddle's been great, and Zach Wilson clearly the worst in his quarterback class. And this is a team that's been playing well. The Waddle Tua connection's been fun. They're playing better on defense. It's not been this thing where they need weird things to happen on defense and special teams to win games like the other year. It's a team that's playing with a little bit of cohesiveness, and yeah, it's a team that's definitely still alive for the playoffs. Just because everybody is again. So
real quick,
not touching this one.
Nothing at all. No interest in this one either. Given a redo, you taking Zach Wilson or Davis Mills to build your franchise around?
Damn it, I might take Davis Mills. Davis Mills. I'm gonna save my Davis Mills takes for when we get to Davis Mills, because I might bet that game.
All right.
But yeah, no play here. If anybody has somebody put a hot take for this game in the chat, and I will put it on screen as we move on to the Dallas game.
Yeah, that's so funny. Somebody brought up though that there was COVID in the running back room for Miami, but that actually probably helps maybe that's why the line
throw the ball more.
People are like, oh, they're going to throw the ball more, so we can actually lay the points here. Okay, Gaskin, Lindsey, and Ahmed all out. This is the Duke Johnson show. Although really, if that means more touches for Waddle, Parker, Wilson, Gesicki, hallelujah, because those guys rock and they should be getting more touches. So, Dallas Giants, another 10-pointer in division. Second straight divisional matchup where the New York-based football team finds themselves a double-digit dog. Great football coming out of the New York metropolitan area. Absolutely just a sight to see. The capital of the NFL is putting these two teams out on the fields as double-digit dogs week in, week out in division. This is a warranted price. I have no love for the Giants here. Honestly,
double New York fade teaser.
Well,
Giants
what do you do
team total under?
Like, if you're the Giants, what are you pushing Daniel Jones back out on the field if he's not 100%?
No.
Why would you, right?
And that's the thing too. The Giants have COVID/injury, especially the defense going to be. I mean, it was Cam Brown, Aaron Robinson, Xavier McKinney. One more linebacker with a weird name that I can never say, and then Tony and Ross still, and the quarterback. So the Giants are in really, really rough shape just already a bad team, and they're really getting struck. And obviously Pollard is still dinged up, and that stinks. Smith didn't practice, so the offensive line
out,
might be.
I think.
Yeah,
that's worth keeping an eye on.
I'm like 90% he's out. He could surprise me, but I'm not 100% on Smith being out. But I mean, the Cowboys look good for the first half last week, and this is probably like if the Cowboys decide to play like they played with the lead last week, I don't think the Giants have the starch to get back in the game. This is probably like a second half under look for me in this one.
A lot of the country is going to be getting this game in the morning.
I know. Have fun with that.
What's your current temperature on Dak Prescott?
I think he's still kind of hurting.
He's having a little bit of rust.
That pick six was rough. Yeah, he needs to get himself right, because the NFC playoffs are going to be something.
This is obviously a December game in the Meadowlands, which means wind will be a factor. Jerome Boger.
Boger
so
game
those are complicating factors. So instead of you have Boger for the over and you have wind for the under. So stay away from the total. Okay, let's keep moving.
Yep. Down in crap country, Baltimore, Natty Bows and Joe Flacco's. He's
one of those games that looked great on paper a week ago, and all of a sudden is one that I don't have a lot to say about, because who the hell is going to be quarterback for Baltimore? And
Jordan Love also has I think he's got the Rona.
Oh, really? Oh, that's not great. So we're going to have to throw a 9-toed Aaron Rodgers out there?
Yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's hamming. I think he's seriously playing it up for the media. He's kind of a putz, Aaron Rodgers. He's a great quarterback. Yeah, but he's a putz.
I didn't see the Jordan Love run.
He's a bell end.
He's a Muppet, as Andy said on Twitter today, that I got a good belly laugh out of.
Bell end. I love using Muppet. I love British.
The Muppet.
Jair Alexander practiced today. David Bakhtiari and Zadarius Smith did not. And you know what? This defense, if I want to take anything away from the first half, they struggled with Justin Fields running the ball a little.
They did.
Tosser's another great one, HL.
But yeah.
Then you say but Lamar has a bad ankle. Can he run? But then you say, what if it's just Tyler Huntley? Like, I think Tyler Huntley healthy is an upgrade from a Lamar Jackson. If you knew ahead of time, like, hey, he won't take off and run today. Like, you can say ahead of time, I can guarantee you, because I have a crystal ball and a magic 8-ball or whatever, he's not going to take off and run. He's not going to scamper. We're not going to do designed runs. I would take Tyler Huntley over that Lamar Jackson right now, because Lamar's throwing is just so all over the place. And then also, if you have a hurt leg, planting and stepping around the pocket is not easy as well. So this is a game where I don't know how you make a case for the Ravens. And again, this is the one you goaded me into betting the Packers -2. So I have the Packers -2. So I don't know.
Work, man. Okay, so
take on it.
Let's talk then a little bit more about this actual handicap. Packers are a little scary if you're anyone else in the NFC, because they have the wins to put them in division in contention for the one. They have a somewhat soft schedule down the home stretch. This is obviously a meaningful test. It's not short-change the Ravens, but obviously the Ravens looked a lot tougher on paper preseason than they are in their current form. And the Packers are getting healthy. Like, a lot, they were missing huge swaths of guys early in the season, particularly on defense. And now they've backfilled well, they've held the line, and they're now getting bodies back who are fresh. This Packers team is going to be a very, very, very tough out in the playoffs. And if the NFL playoffs go through Green Bay, that much tougher, because every other team in contention in the NFC is a warm weather team or a dome team. And so they will have a decent, kind of situational edge in every single home playoff game in Lambeau, which may just be the two. So it's, this is a big high leverage game for the Packers. And really, like, the Packers, I think they are one of these teams that, under LaFleur, they've always kind of been the arc team. Like, they've always tried to kind of improve and peak towards the end of the season when the weather's in their favor, when the the crowd is really loving the cold in Lambeau. And it's this is every other team in the NFC hoping the hell that Packers somehow struggle and lose this game, but I just don't see it happening. Tyler Huntley, Lamar Jackson doesn't especially matter, in my opinion, for this particular matchup, considering the fact that the Ravens offensive line cannot pass protect. They can't. And the Ravens defense now has replacement level players all freaking over the place, particularly in the secondary. The Marlon Humphrey injury.
Yeah, the cornerback
Baker Mayfield took advantage of it for a half.
And a hurt Baker Mayfield is a long way from Aaron Rodgers, even with a 9-toed Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams win someone their fantasy playoff game this weekend for sure. Yeah. In fact, what's the Packers team total over?
It would be 22.75 or 21.75 plus half of 5.5.
That sounds too low.
5-ish. All right, Packers team total over 24.5.
Where are you seeing 24.5?
In the chat, the Hef just said it. I don't know. He probably
if it's 23, because I was trying to do the math in my head, and this game looks like a
27-16.
Yeah.
Final score.
Let's put it in the queue. Let's chew on that one. Let's chew on that one. Packers team total over. Let's chew on it. Nothing about the Packers offense looks stoppable in this contest.
No. If we get second half versus the Bears, Roger, it's going to be an issue. Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Oof, there's a game. This is a game. Steelers. Go look at Big Ben's score, whatever you want to call it, box score from last week. It was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then you realize like all of that was in garbage time. Like they were getting the shit kicked out of them, and Minnesota did the Minnesota thing. If you go look at that Thursday game, like Big Ben didn't have a good game. They put the pedal down there, down by 4 scores, and ended up getting a bunch of garbage points. Like again, it's not a tough defense you're playing again this week, but Pittsburgh's defense is really taking a step down. It sounded like you made it sound like Watt was trending in.
I think he is. Yeah.
If he is out, I don't know how in the world we don't bet like a Titans team total over 21 or 21 and a half here. Yeah, Titans team total is 20 and a half. Did you see the holes that Dalvin Cook was running through?
Yes, I did.
That was mentioned a couple times on the broadcast. It was embarrassing how big those holes were, and I'm sure they worked on that in practice. But again, we've seen a big drop off in this pass rush, or this rushing attack, excuse me. But man, I don't know if it matters who's back there. And this offense,
I mean, Dante Foreman has a pulse.
Yeah, there's a couple. McNichols and Foreman if they can open up holes like that, I mean, they can put Papa calls from the chat back there.
I was thinking about just playing this over period.
I think, and not only that, like, what if we get a similar game?
Because Tennessee Titans defense is not as good as they look on paper.
That's fair.
And if it's the same game script, oh yeah, shit, man. Either one of these teams gets, the over is a sweat if this is a close contest. Like, let's exchange some field position here. Let's move the trenches back and forth. If this is a big play spectacle like what we saw on Thursday night with the Steelers, this total is wildly low. So 41.5 feels way depressed, and I don't really get it. If you're going to look at the last couple results for the Tennessee Titans defense against some teams that absolutely do not have a pulse on offense, and tell me that is indicative of how good that unit is, I have some beachfront property in Arizona to sell you. Is that the saying? Whatever.
So.
Whatever the case is. Oh, beautiful this time of year. Warmer than here, man. It's fucking freezing.
Steelers second half team total over 10.5. That's my bet.
And you know what else? Steelers can't afford to lose this game. So if the market is right and the Titans ought to be favored, then you're going to get some shenanigans like going for it deep in their own territory. YOLO ball from Ben, maybe a pick six here or there. So it's this is an over spot for me. I haven't played it. Yeah, I haven't played a lot yet this week, but this is an overlook for me. 41.5 is too low.
A little low. I trust you there. Yeah. Houston at Jacksonville. This is a game that's happening. Like I said, I watched some Davis Mills. I watched some Davis Mills highlights. I think Davis Mills is playing better than Zach Wilson right now. Davis Mills, in a couple of those, and granted it was highlights, so I didn't see his lowlights. I should watch the whole game. Boy, howdy! Yes, this is a good case here. Should Urban Meyer be favored by -4 against any NFL team? The Texans are a bad team, but Davis Mills, when he had that nice rollout for the touchdown in the court of the end zone, like it's what we talk about when we talked about Burrow last year and this year. It's what we talk about when we talk about Mac Jones, despite not putting up big old stat lines every week. The poise is so important for a young quarterback. Like,
yes, it is.
Making his reads, making his adjustments at the line, and not looking like the moment's too big. And I think a big part of it is probably
game slowing down.
Expectations.
That's
like it's a lot easier to just go out there and be like, fuck, we suck. I don't have all this pressure on me to win. I just got to go out there and do what I've always done. Maybe he just has a better mental state than, it's got to be unnerving to be drafted that high after playing out in Mormon country, go to the New York media. Like, I feel for Zach Wilson. That's a big jump to go face the freaking New York media after, playing basically, it wasn't Power 5 football. He had it a lot easier out there. Plus they were winning all the time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe that's part of it. It's just the pressure isn't on. And again, I'm not saying Davis Mills is like going to have this good career, but I'd take him over Trevor right now. Trevor threw one that got tipped last week, and that wasn't his fault, but the other 3 interceptions were horrid. This team beat this team earlier in the year.
Whoa. Did you say you would take Davis Mills over Trevor Lawrence?
Not long term. No, not like long term. Right now, if you made me pick a quarterback to play,
we're gonna go. It's 2-11 teams. I need one quarterback to go win this game. You have more confidence in Davis Mills coming in and winning this game than you have in Trevor Lawrence this moment,
especially if he's coached by the Jacksonville coaching staff.
Okay.
I think that's a big thing.
You confused me there for a second.
Oh God, no.
That's a hot take.
Long term, the ceiling for Trevor is up here, and Davis is not. But now, one game, if you made me pick one, and this might suck, this is gonna blow up in my face when he looks so bad. But I'm tempted by this 3.5, and I might take it.
Okay. I know some sure people that bet to the Texans this week.
Yeah, and that's all I have to say about that.
The market looked like it was kind of maneuvered a little. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Somebody maneuvered this to get a 4 for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you like the 3.5, you like the money line too.
Yeah. All right. Well, some of the sharper places aren't going to give you. They're going to make you lay big juice for 3.5. So you might as well just get involved with the money line, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd probably sell down to a 3 or take a money line.
This is, by the way, the game that will get the smallest footprint in terms of nationwide broadcast over the balance of the weekend, only being broadcast in the Houston and Jacksonville metropolitan areas. So they send Andrew Catalon and James Lofton to Jacksonville to cover this one. CBS. So let's move to the afternoon. Wait, no, this is still the morning.
It is somehow they move some of these around, so it's later in the rotation number. But this
Gus Johnson and Aqib Talib heading to Detroit to cover this one.
That's not a bad. I might find that on the streams for sure.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals, tough loss against a team who does that sort of thing and can get back on the old horse. Nice win by you. Nice win by us in the second half. Cardinals are clearly much better than the Lions. The only question is by how much, and are the Lions still in that dead spot where, they got their win and just nasty letdown spot for them. Like, how long does that last? Is that a multi-week thing? It might be. Getting back home helps, but getting back home and facing this team sucks. That said, Hopkins done for the year. Maybe not for the playoffs, but done for the regular season.
Yeah.
There's still too many receivers to cover here. Have fun with
for
this.
Detroit.
Yeah. I don't know. And Hawkinson and Swift didn't practice today. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You going to take the points here? Have fun with that. Maybe take the points when it's like plus 30 at some point. I would oof.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else really to add. 13.5 is an awful lot for a team that's still trying hard. You got Snow-nado in your neck of the woods?
It's like 65 degrees here.
Oh, what? Oh,
it was so warm today. All the snow, like, well, this afternoon it was, but like all the snow that we got is like gone, and it was hot. Now it's raining, and there's a tornado apparently around me. I'll check. If I get tornadoed live on air, give us a thumbs up in the YouTube chat. I need that.
There's a lot of that going around.
I just get sucked out of the
don't
roof
get tornadoes. For the record, Deep Dive as a brand does not support making your workers work through tornado warnings. If you need to go, you go.
I don't have a basement here.
Although it's unsafe to be driving around in a tornado, so
I'm gonna be pissed. I just bought a truck. If that gets tornadoed,
Andy.
Yeah, no, I'll be safe. I'll just get under this table.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got nothing to say about Detroit.
Yeah, nothing to say.
Arizona.
Let's get to a much better game.
Yeah. No, I played this one actually. I have some interest here. The Atlanta Falcons are taking on the San Francisco 49ers, and for the life of me, I cannot make this anything but 7. Every which way I try to come up with a fair price here, I'm at 7. And so the fact that you're going to get me past the 2-point conversion even to give me a 9-point game here with the Falcons was enough to get me involved. Ultimately, I don't think the Falcons win this game. But I do think this is more competitive than the market currently believes. Falcons ain't dead yet, man. They're going to have some tough questions about how they come up with ways to cover the various weapons that the Niners are going to have out on the field. But the Niners, for what it's worth, have not played especially well at the Field of Genes. Their home field advantage has not really been present. And I'm not sure you can give them a 2 or 3 point bump here beyond just, what the power number difference would tell you between these two teams. Are the Niners a bona fide playoff team, in my opinion? Yes. Are they okay, so we'll talk about the Rams in a second. Write the Rams in the 5 seed. You can put that in pen. Write the Niners in the 6 seed. You can put that in very indelible pencil. Dig it into
erasable pen.
Yeah, erasable pen, sure. The 6 seed is the Niners to the 6 seed is the Niners to lose, in my opinion, and I think they ultimately win this game. When they were at 8.5 or 7, I was eyeing them as a potential teaser, but ultimately, I think the Falcons defense has enough players and is playing up in a way that they're going to be feisty in this contest. And I don't know that they have a great matchup on the Niners defensive side of the ball for what Kyle Pitts and Justin Gage were doing last week against the Carolina Panthers. Matt Ryan playing with a little bit of confidence. Pass pro has been decent. I think the Niners are going to have their hands full this Sunday.
And yes, Matt Ryan fucks Kyle Shanahan out of a win. That's the thing that's happened. I'm on this too from Sunday. We just kind of said it doesn't feel good, but boy, it's too many points. I'm down around a touchdown, a little less. I updated everything. I'm at 6.6. So I'm way off market here, which doesn't usually happen this late in the season. But again, the 8 and the 9, not that important. So I'm just on the other side of the touchdown from this, and this is drifting out to the point where I might take a little more. But yeah, I like this spot here. The Niners, Jimmy G has been hard to figure out because he made some nice throws last week. He looked good in overtime, but then you have these moments where the entire world's why aren't we playing Trey? It's yeah, man, that was rough. He'll
throw a couple air mails in there. He did it against the Seahawks that lost 30-23 a couple weeks ago. He did it. What were some of the other games he's done it? He has had some moments where he's lost his composure a bit. And ultimately, George Kittle was the reason that they beat the Bengals, in my opinion, more so than Jimmy G. Kittle's a freaking man. Falcons don't match up great against him. So it should, I think Niners get a win, but ultimately, I think it's a competitive game.
I tell you what, can you keep talking here? I'm legitimately going to go walk outside and look.
Just peek at what's going on.
Well, there's sirens now. I feel not car sirens, or like tornado sirens. BRB. LOL.
Okay.
See if I can
I will set the table here for the Cincinnati Bengals at the Denver Broncos. We talked a little bit about this on the Sunday podcast. I could not wrap my brain around how the Bengals flipped from a look-ahead favorite of 3 to a meaningful dog on the basis of the results that we got over the weekend. Bengals really did not look bad in their loss to the Niners. They just got, they couldn't make a key stop when they needed to. The Broncos, on the other hand, beat the Lions' brains in, which, that'll happen when you're playing a team that just won their first game of the season and it's week 15 or whatever. I don't give the Broncos a ton of credit for a win last week. And realistically, we've seen this all before. As you look up and down the schedule for the Denver Broncos this season, it is oh, look at that. They just beat the Giants, Jaguars, and Jets by 1 billion. Let's make them favorites against the Ravens. Oh, they lose. Like, oh yeah, they just beat the Detroit Lions by 28. Let's make them favorites against the Bengals. Like this is like deja vu all over again here, where we're believing in the Broncos to be able to go toe to toe with a good team enough to make them a favorite, and I'm just not seeing it. I think the Cincinnati Bengals have kind of a nice balanced attack in terms of what they can do with Mixon, what they can do through the air. And I think the Broncos defense, while it's very, very good, is mostly just on the pass defensive side of things. And realistically, if Joe Mixon is getting it going on the ground, taking a little bit of the pressure off of Joe Burrow, and then Burrow's dealing in the red zone, Cincinnati's going to be tough to stop here. And Cincinnati's a team that I think we have a very decent understanding and read on. They are incredible when they're playing with the lead. Incredible. In fact, that's probably like if you give up a lead to these Bengals, just call it a day. Like they're going to continue to hang points on you and they're going to run away from you. This team does not play well from behind. They can do it, but they don't play very well from behind. And so I think this is, this particular matchup comes down to, can the Bengals get their feet, can they get some momentum going early here? Can they put some points on the board in the first half of this one, and then play downhill in the second half? And my answer to those questions is yes. So I've played the Bengals here. I like them on the money line. I like them to win. This is obviously an elimination game for both teams. Neither team at 7-7 has much of a hope of getting a wild card spot. I think the best you can hope this year in the AFC is that you steal a wild card seed with 6 losses.
The best that you can do is fall in love. I wasn't listening all that close. I was checking the weather. There's like the tornado sirens went off.
What's going on?
I don't think it's coming for me though. I feel safe here. And what else am I going to do? I'm in a strip mall. Either way, I agree. Melvin Gordon practiced. If there is anybody who can take away Higgins, Chase, and everything else, it's a good secondary unit. But it's been such an up and down team. I tend to agree that I wouldn't lay the points with either team here.
Yeah. Okay.
I would. I'm fine with. I'm fine with what you're doing, and I probably love your side as a
teaser. Yes,
it is a really solid, really solid teaser leg. And yeah, that, like Burrow looked good for good chunks of the game, and it was just you don't expect the Niners to outdo. I really did not expect the Niners to win in overtime. I had very low expectations for them, and I didn't have a bet. I just went like watching parts of that game, and then watching them go into overtime during the show. It's like, fuck, they're done. Like, this is over.
Yeah.
So yeah, playoff game for sure.
Lucky. Yeah.
Having 7 losses isn't going to help when several other teams are likely to get their 8th win here. Yeah, probably an agree. I'm not as strong of a feel on this one. If the Broncos can run the ball, I think they'll be all right. Teddy, take him or leave him. Teddy covers is Teddy covers, but I don't know if that's going to be a thing forever. I think maybe those days are behind us because this team has kind of been figured out for some of these games. And yeah, I'm a pass or a tease.
How in the blue fuck do the Pacers not get off a shot with 21 seconds left in the second quarter? They get the rebound. There's 21 seconds. I'm not watching the game, so I'm like, I absolutely gotta get the score at the play-by-play. Get off a shot, you clowns. What the fuck? All right. Wow. Okay. Let's go Bungles. Bungles, actually, well, before we move on from Bungles, we've talked about every other AFC North team. Which of them gets the 4 seed in your opinion?
If Lamar gets healthy. I think probably the upper leg there, despite all the injuries, man. Bengals win this game. That's a really big step towards that. Bengals to win this division would be wild. I have no idea, man.
When is Lamar getting right?
I don't know. We'll see what that ankle looks like.
You think? Because like the Ravens signed him. They signed another quarterback off their practice
that
squad,
doesn't
right?
seem good.
That's never good. That's never good. A sign. Although maybe they just want to back up
it's
in case.
really hard because all these games are, closely lined and if the Packers take care of business and the Bengals get this win, which they're very live to, that is a big problem for that division standings, and it turns into a big old mess.
Okay, because the reason I
Also-
asked you when does Lamar get right is because next week is Bengals Ravens
Yeah,
in Cincy. Look ahead.
that's right. That's where I wonder
ahead.
if they punt it this week and say we just have to beat the Bengals next week. Let's get them healthy for that.
Well, considering how well they matched up the first time, I get why they would do that. They can obviously afford to drop a game because they could definitely win that one. The Bengals beat them 1,000,000-3 last time. Look ahead line,
luckily,
look ahead line, by the way, Cincinnati -2.5. The look ahead total in that game 44.5. That look ahead total is too low.
We've got
Bengals Ravens over 44.5. Next week's going to be a bet if that even comes close to the opening number. Anyway,
we've got radar indicated rotation now. That means there's a tornado here.
RIR.
Luckily, it is 10, 12 miles south of me.
Okay.
But that is where my house is. So,
oh boy, how's the
hopefully
family?
I don't know. The wife's on tornado lookout. It looks like it's past there now. Like where it is hitting some other people now. Hopefully, it's just one of those things where it stays up high, doesn't touch down. We get a lot of this here too.
Okay.
The worst part about my house doesn't have a basement. It's an old barn that they just converted into a house. So I don't know where I'd go. I'd go lay in the culvert under the driveway, I suppose. Anyway, Bengals is a teaser. Stay safe out there, everyone.
Okay.
And let's talk about taking a dog in the NFC West.
The Sea Chickens. This number's
stomach. Do you have the stomach?
I already did it.
Yeah, I know.
Let's
say you didn't.
Would I take 4.5?
Would you still take this?
Yes. Because it's the NFC West and it's a dog.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think I would.
I mean the Rams, let's reframe the Rams a second. Rams win this game, they still have a 10% chance to win the NFC West. Their chances this moment are about 10% to win the NFC West.
Okay.
The Cardinals are beating the Lions. Let's not fuck around. Okay.
We'll just call it.
That means as this game kicks off, the Rams' chances to win the NFC West will be about 10%. And realistically, they're coming off a huge win, emotional high. We finally got something good done against a team that's excellent. And realistically, this is a decent letdown spot for the Rams against a team that plays them freaking tough every single time without the injury to
this is it.
Classic.
This is the whole.
It's a classic. It is a classic.
He has them every 6 weeks now. It's become more frequent later in his career, but I mean it's a better team. But
this game was competitive until Wilson broke his finger, and it was the Geno Smith show against the Rams in Seattle on Thursday all those years ago. But I would say that the fair price here is probably 3.5, considering who's going to be available for the Rams. I have no inside information that there are additional Rams COVID cases coming.
But you have to lean. The long tail doesn't go the other way.
No, because they took a couple guys with them to Arizona on the plane and then found out they had COVID. And when you have guys that close contact, that sort of thing happens. Ramsey may be back for all I can tell you. I have no clue. It's worth noting that Aaron Donald is playing like a god, and that is scary as a Russell Wilson supporter in this one. This could be a game where the Rams effectively, dictate a lot of the action. Do you remember how the Rams Seahawks split last year? I know that they played in the playoffs and the Rams did very well in that spot. But do you remember how these two teams split in the regular season last year?
I'm trying to think of the second game.
I know they split, but I don't remember what happened.
I have much more vivid memories of Seahawks 49ers games for some reason. Those games are always wild.
They're
but
always very memorable.
yeah, we did. Did you get a 7 here? I had to go check my ticket.
Yeah.
So I guess kudos to us for getting a good number when they lose by 30. But
yeah, first time around last year in the split, early in the season, week 10, the Rams win 23-16. Late in the season, week 16, the Seahawks won 22-9. So it was and that was actually the game that won the
that's true.
Seahawks the West ultimately.
So I mean,
I'm a 7, yeah.
If you didn't get involved yet, I don't know how you could take the Rams unless you have some insider information about people that are going to be coming off the list. Their list is messy. Wilson still isn't right. You know what? The running game for Seattle, they've been trying to do it for since Beast Mode left. They've been trying to get it figured out. Kind of looked okay last week.
Yeah, it kind of did.
If there's some pieces missing there, or they are able to just get that run blocking scheme working again, Seattle might be able to run, which they need, because I hate to be like, oh, you have to balance offense, but like they don't have a team that can just throw 80% of the time.
And
Wilson's still and
they're going to do it anyway. So at least it might as well be good plays on the ground.
Yeah.
Like they're going to do it anyway.
Oh, I couldn't have said that better. That's so perfect. Yeah. It doesn't matter. They're going to run. They could have, the running back could have 2 broken legs, and they're like, we'll give it to him.
We'll see what he's got.
Anyway.
Let's kick the tires on him.
I like
we
his
need
attitude
rushing attempts plus completions, and we're not going to get, we're not going to get our 60 completions or whatever. That's way too many to ask. Whatever.
So the fact is, they will run regardless. So if they're going to get some yardage out of it, and it's, play success, good job. So Seahawks plus 7. God, I got crazy CLV. It's going to be such a bad week.
Oh, so bad. Papa Cows brings up a huge point. Remember what the Rams did after they beat Tampa Bay? This does feel like deja vu all over again in that regard. And honestly, like the Rams, if they're down in this game because they get off to a bad start or a slow start because things just aren't working and Seattle's playing up, what do they care? They're the 5th seed regardless. Like there's a 10% chance that they make it to the 4th seed or the 3rd seed. I think I realistically in my mind, if they steal the West, they're going to be the 4th seed. So realistic chance that they'll swap venues when they play the Cardinals again is probably how this breaks.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that there's really a ton of motivation here on the side of the Rams to air out, to get, let's go deep in the playbook for this comeback mode here. And by the way, like, who kind of sucks in comeback mode? Sean McVay. Like that guy is a front runner. He is a front runner extraordinaire, and realistically, if the Seahawks come out and put up a little bit of a fight early here, I think this is probably a Seahawks win realistically. So,
Bowdy.
Let's keep moving to the Sunday Night Football game, which quietly sucks.
Yeah, this would have been one of those because it's like, hey, this is kind of like they don't usually do well against New Orleans. Tom. This is a game he struggled uberly. In the game last year. That was a
duberly
thromp down. But the Saints are in a spot where they're starting a tight end at quarterback. Their wide receiver, number 1, didn't get to play at all this year. They've had multiple problematic injuries to the running back position. Although when Kamara is right. He's awesome. Yeah. He is really something to behold. Good defense, though. I mean, it's been a good secondary at times. They've been able to get off the ball a little on the pass rush. The Bucs are just so good, and the Bucs are going to throw constantly. And if you can hold them down, you can stay within this number. If you can't, you might lose by 30. I mean, takeaways from last week in the Bucs game, as far as Taysom Hill can run a little. Taysom Hill is actually running a lot. They're using him in that way, like purposefully, because that's a skill set he has. But they do struggle with these running quarterbacks. And I guess if I was going to focus on something, I'd say let's make Taysom throw the ball. Don't take away that. Let Kamara do what Kamara's going to do. but don't let Taysom add on top of that. I don't think you have the defense to stop Kamara, despite being a pretty good rush defense in general. I'd work on getting after the quarterback and then having something ready for him if he squirms out of there, or if you're flushing him out of the pocket, not letting that turn into big gains if I'm Tampa. So Taysom probably still has like 60 yards rushing, even if you try to take it away from him. So Saints probably a little live at this number, but more likely Saints team total over like 17.
I dig it.
I kind of dig that.
What's that number?
I was just spitballing. It's 23 minus 5.5. So probably 17.5.
Basically, it's basically a flat 17. Okay. You're either getting a great price at 17.5, or you're laying a kidney for 16.5.
Yeah.
What do you want there?
I'd probably sell it up. I wish you could sell that. Everyone shits on the European model, but
yeah.
Boy,
give us 19. You want 19.5?
Hey, what do you want? Like, you want to bet over 21.5? Here, whatever. Plus 240. Yeah. Have it.
Okay.
Your take?
I took the points here. I back the Saints. I think that there's enough of a signal here about the Saints defense in the way that they kind of keep Brady within reach, that I'm not expecting like an earth-shattering change where all of a sudden Brady looks like $1 million against this defense. I'll be surprised if it happens, but in general, they do what's his name? Who's the kid at cornerback for the Saints who's just a nightmare matchup? Claiborne. Claiborne is a nightmare matchup for Evans every single time. He's in that guy's head. I don't know what it is. That takes away one of Brady's dynamic set of weapons. Makes them a little bit more one-dimensional in terms of an overall attack. I know this is in Tampa Bay, but it's still been a tough contest for this. I mean, I'm not leaning at all on what we saw the last time these two teams went head-to-head in Tampa.
No, that was a different
squad.
That
was a very different squad. That was a very different situation. But ultimately, I think this is alive. I think the Saints are alive at least through a lot of this game. Yes.
This is
Hawks
another
cover.
Sunday. This is another.
Hawks were trying to do me again, man. Blow a 23-point lead. 23-point lead. They end up winning by 12. God damn.
This is another one we bet on the Sunday opener stream. It hasn't moved much. I got an 11.5. So I ride with you here. I think we were pretty much in lockstep on those dogs.
Okay.
It's like on the Sunday opener, yeah. We took New Orleans, we took Atlanta, we took Seattle. I have Green Bay from last week. Yep. So we're pretty much in lockstep, and we just need the team total play and does the chat come up with a play? It seems like there's
some discontinuity over there.
Oh man, the chat. Yeah. This is like the end of the first Lord of the Rings book.
I mean, this isn't the same level of dysfunction that exists in like the Jaguars locker room.
Yeah, no, these guys are clearly. Who would be the
what's your official prediction on what happens there? Before while we kind of think about the chat play and the pod play, what's your official prediction on what happens? Is Urban Meyer the next coach fired? What happens to our Urban Meyer next coach fired, our first coach fired bets? And ultimately, where did the Jags go from here?
I hope they cash him. I think he is the next coach fired. This last thing, it's like just one thing on top of another. Like, don't kick people. Don't be nice to people in general. It doesn't matter if they work for you or not. Like, don't kick people. That's just
bad karma.
And then don't yell at them. And if you're gonna do it to a big old dude. Like, see how you feel then. Don't kick a little old kicker. Go pick on the punter. That's horrible. So yeah, it looks like Cincy and Houston money lines are kind of in play here in the chat. What did we land on? I don't know about our tickets. I have no idea. I'm dead serious. I'm gonna DM Dave Mason, see what he thinks.
Okay. Excited to find out one way or the other there.
Yeah, I'll let you know what he comes.
That'd be a nice Christmas. That'd be a nice Christmas present if that actually does play out. Because it's been a tough year. It wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't make me whole, but it'd feel good.
would be nice.
Feel good.
What do you think for team total then? These have been running hot, so we have to really be careful.
I'm going to throw 3 options out there, and you tell me what you think. Patriots, 21.5. Philadelphia. Oh, that's over. An over 21.5 for the Patriots.
Yep, obviously.
An under 17.5 for the Browns. An over 24.5 for the Eagles, going up against that COVID trench situation. An over for the Titans against the Steelers, about 21.5. Or an over for New Orleans Saints, 17.5.
All 5 parlayed.
Dang, bang, bang.
I might do that as a fun little teaser, but I think my favorite is still the Eagles. If you can get a 24.5.
Yeah, against I have no other skin in that one, so I kind of want to go there.
I kind of want that one just to get involved in that game. And if I can find like a 26.5 or 27.5 at plus money, I'd take that.
Washington's let's pick a different one. Because Washington does like to take the air out of the ball. And considering that they know this too, they're gonna
the Saints,
they're really gonna try to take the air out of the ball there. You want to do the Saints?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. Saints 17.5. Secret pod play. Put it on the board.
And we will bless it with some Kevin James.
Did you bet into Monday Night Football at all? We didn't talk about Monday Night Football because
Lord no. The Bears are on primetime again.
Oh boy. Minnesota typically goes to Chicago this time of year for some horrific football.
Yeah.
And play some horrific football. Is that what you're expecting there?
Kind of. Yeah, I'm tempted by that under. I think our defense, listen to me. I've been talking to people from here too much again. I said our
defense.
Yeah, like I'm a fucking homer. Ugh.
Any COVID in Mini?
Despite being the team with the most COVID all year long, I don't think they're sitting on anything right now, which is something. One of the lowest vaccinated teams in the league. So, yeah, Bears probably live. The under's live. Bears first half, under first half. No, I'll probably just end up playing the second half, though. You know me.
It's going to be Fields, Dalton, or Foles?
Fields
and Dalton are both questionable.
It'll be Fields again. I think he's fine.
Okay. All right. God, I don't want to break that one down.
Second most now to Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland. Cleveland came raring around the corner and passed them. So, all right, hey, you guys.
Team, good, solid finishing skills.
Maybe hit a thumbs up if you're in the chat. If you're in the YouTube chat, appreciate you guys crushing the chat today. A lot of good comments, a lot of good conversation.
Riddle me how the Milwaukee Bucks are hitting 60% from 3.
Variance. It's called variance. It happens all the time. Sometimes teams hit 100%.
You want to know at halftime? You want to know what the Pacers were? 20%.
Well, that's low.
It's very low. Not good. Do you have any college basketball in play today?
I got a late one. I think I'm 3-2 with I bet the dog and the under in the UNLV game. So that game doesn't even start for like an hour, man. Otherwise, it's been a decent game. I bet Akron +4. I think they won by 20. College basketball is so wild sometimes like that, where it's like, oh, this team's a dog, and they got steamed like a point. And then I think they led wire to wire. It was just a gross defeat for Wright State. Got beat. Our Fairfield Stags, never in doubt, led by about 10 to 20 the whole game. Fairfield, for some reason, is a truck. Looking forward to Fairfield, Iona for domination of the MAAC. And with that, we'll catch you guys tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football halftime.
Very cool. Excited for tomorrow's game. Best Thursday Night Football game of the season, probably.
It should be a good one. I'm kind of pumped for it too. So
all right, I'm gonna get ripped.
We should get super hot. Patrick says, "Don't count out Manhattan." Yeah, the MAAC is up. It's a dogfight every year.
Great interaction in the chat today. Really appreciate it.
Oh, and just